do something in their lives, change it up, you know? So I was excited, but I thought it was over. Once I did my GD, I thought it was just over. Next, you know, that was it, getting offered to internships like Chocolate Cafe right here. This is actually my 4th week, and it's not only about the money, but it's the learning experience that I'm, you know, getting. Because I'm trying to be a leader. I've been in a restaurant industry for 4 or 5 years, so I already know about communication, but I didn't know I could exceed. So.
Okay, well, my name's Alyssa, and I actually work at the jail. I am with Donald, Brian, and Angelica over there. I do shadow Miss Heidi. She's employed as a case manager under chaplaincy in there, but she kind of does a lot of other different things. So far, when I first went in, I actually helped her with a project for Gonzalez and the Major, and it was basically just finding all of the resources and everything that we're offering in the jail, or supposed to be offering in the jail, between education, law library, medical, mental health, just finding out all of that information, if they're employed through Harris County or if they're coming in as volunteers, when they're coming in, all that kind of fun stuff. So we've put together a huge project and turned it in, and they're gonna be, she actually just went over it with them yesterday. There were some very big issues with reentry. That makes you ask a lot of questions about if it's even really working, like what are they kind of doing, but that's like really in depth and kind of in detail, and it's really crazy. But after we did that, I ended up helping her look up any women on the 6th floor who were, or the 4th floor, who was prostitutes, who had any charges for prostitution. We had to pull all of their information because they were going to have classes for prostitution and everything, so we had to pull all their information, see if they're still housed there, where they're housed, how long they're going to be in there, when their next court date is, all that fun stuff. I did just do another one for Santa Maria, so any women with drug charges, prostitution, and violent crimes, so anything that's aggravated but it can't be more than 3. We kind of filter through all of those kind of things. I did actually get to shadow a recovery coach, Miss Kelly. I forgot what agency she works for. It's not Santa Maria, but I got to shadow her through some of the female tanks and kind of talk to them. I know during recovery coaching we kind of talked about 3 different scenarios: women wanting, or people wanting to not get help for their addiction but needing help in other ways, really wanting to change, just kind of saying, you know, my drug problem isn't, like, I can handle that. It's other things that have led to my drug problem is what they need to handle, and they can stop whenever they want to. So it was kind of cool to really see all of that kind of play in effect, rather than just kind of role playing and stuff like that throughout the training. I did go to the 2nd floor, which is where women are housed, and the mental health. I got to walk through some of those tanks, talk to some people in there. We saw a couple of the tanks with the men who were in there on suicide watch, and you saw them like in their gowns and stuff, kind of talk to them a little bit. At some point, I will be going to actually talk to Stephen Hobbs and Lucky Ward. They're 2 serial killers who are locked up in there right now. Natasha, one of the chaplaincy women, she's going to take me over there, and we're going to kind of talk to them and everything like that, and just kind of make sure that they're doing okay and everything as well. So it's really cool. It's really awesome because Heidi kind of introduces me to a lot of different people, so I've got to meet a lot of different people from the different areas in the jail. So like VA, I got to talk to them, I got to talk to mental health, really just everybody. We got to do some death notifications, which is interesting to kind of see how they react. It was just recently on the news, there was a shooting out off of Bamel in 1960 out in Cyprus, and a man was basically shot and killed in front of his 3 kids. I got to sit in on the death notice to tell his uncle that he was in fact murdered and what had happened. They get to make a phone call, they have chaplains there to talk to them, tell them about what's a good way to grieve, what's a bad way, kind of go through all of that stuff. And actually, he had another family member who was housed in 701 San Jacinto, so then we got to go over there and tell him, and we kind of just got to like see exactly how they let them know that their loved ones have passed away. Sometimes I haven't had any who have reacted bad yet. They've all kind of just been a little more calmer. Sometimes they'll punch the walls, try to flip the desks, they'll act out, which is understandable, but I haven't really got to do any of that yet. And that's, I mean, really all I've kind of been doing, just shadowing, kind of walking through, got to see everything. Got called some fun names my first time walking through mental health. That was exciting. I got called a white whore. I got called a bitch and a couple other terms, which was very, it was kind of interesting. I didn't get into a fight, but I almost witnessed a fight inside of one of the tanks. Two girls almost kind of went at each other. But Miss Jefferson, one of the lead chaplains on the second floor, or the fourth floor, she was able to kind of cut it out, and they didn't react any sort of way or anything. There was one lady, I know Angelica kind of saw that. We didn't get to see the video, I heard about it, but basically went off on a rant in her tank. As soon as they opened the doors, the rovers didn't have hold of her.
Yeah. So we work with Unlimited Visions with kids struggling with I guess addictions and problems at home, and I've only been there a week. So this past week I went to Sharpstown High School, and I think most of y'all know what kind of high school that is. And so I was in school suspension with the kids, and so since it was my first day there, I was just kind of like shadowing Mr. Sims, and he shared his story and got everybody's attention. And something that I was telling the kids was like, you know, they have the potential to change for the better. And as a matter of fact, today, over the weekend, I thought about something that I could say to the kids today. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to working more with the kids and having an impact in them. So, it's a really good feeling.
My name is Helen. I'm also with Unlimited Visions Aftercare. I've been there for almost 2 weeks now, and there's been a lot of information given to us. And last Tuesday, I was able to be a part of, I was there all day from 1 to 8, and I was able to be a part of drug court. So Mr. Sims, myself, Tracy, this other girl that's with us, with the organization, she was there, and then our driver, Mr. Reggie, we all went to the courthouse to be a part of drug court. It was very exciting, very enlightening. You get to drug court, you sit in the back, and you pretty much just watch as kids go in and they get either convicted or they get let home with some sort of probation. At the moment, I didn't really know what was going on because it was my first time being there. So the first case that walked in, the kid went in with his parents, and it was a drug incident, marijuana. They caught him with marijuana in his school, and they were trying to figure out what they were going to do, whether he was going to just go away and come to Unlimited Visions for rehab, or if they were going to go ahead and let him out with the ankle brace. So the verdict was that they were going to let him go on the condition that he would assist Unlimited Visions. They were going to keep his ankle brace on for another 3 months, and they were going to continue to monitor him. The second case that walked in, it was a DWI, a 15-year-old driving without a license. He had been on, he had 6 citations already under his belt, 2 crashes, where on one crash he almost killed that person that he crashed into. Mind you, he was drunk all times. So that incident took longer, and the verdict, guys, I kid you not, he almost got arrested. They were going to send him to jail. The deputy was standing behind him, and the judge told him, you know what, go ahead and stand up. Enough is enough. You've been here multiple times. 0 tolerance. The psychiatrist that was there, the criminal psychiatrist that was also within the committee, said, hold on. Let's think this through. And the judge was, okay, you know what, have a seat. Let's go about this one more time. And the deputy stepped back. The kid was already in tears. He has a little 2-year-old, meaning he had a kid when he was 13. His parents were already in tears. The little one was already in tears. And they sat down and they relaxed, and then the judge and the psychiatrist were talking back and forth, and they came to the verdict that they were gonna let him go. Ankle brace, follow up with probation, 0 tolerance. If he drove, if he drank, if he stepped out of his home, he was only allowed to step out of his home for school, and that was it. So that was the verdict for him. They gave him that one last chance, and he promised to the judge that he wasn't gonna screw it up. So I felt like I was in there in an episode of Law and Order for a moment. It was exciting, it was enlightening, I learned a lot. And then drug court is every Tuesday, so I think we're going today. But in the evening, the kids after school come over to the warehouse. It's like a warehouse where they hold.
It's called the Wellness Center.
Yes, the Wellness Center, and they hold activities and meetings, and it's a whole bunch of kids, badass kids. They think they're gangsters, and they walk in there with their pants to their knees, and some of them are even tatted up, and they're barely freshmen in high school, and they all sit in a room, and we start off with a topic. Last week's topic was, what does freedom mean to you? And then of course most of them are like, oh, it's good, but that doesn't explain what freedom means to you. So our job is to open up to them so that they can open up to us, and then pretty much show them, hey, like, the life now, the world that we live in, does not revolve around marijuana, around getting high, around carrying a Glock and thinking that you're awesome, you know? And some of them laugh, and some of them you can actually see in their actions and their eyes that, hey, okay, maybe they have a point. Maybe this isn't the life to live after all. So that's what we're there to do, pretty much a lot of advocacy, and we try to get involved as well with the kids and show them a better path.
That's it.
My work at the Houston Food Bank.
Tyrone Newsom, the Houston Food Bank.
Joseph Wynn.
I don't know why they're nervous. We basically, with the food bank, me and Tyrone work on Fridays, like 10 hours straight from 7 to 5 every Friday. And then Joseph goes in like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I think Friday as well. It's been pretty fun. Like, we've been working with like different people that come there and purchase like things from the grocery store, because it's really like a hands-on grocery store. It's not like a little small little shopping center. It's like an actual grocery store where they can get food and like things for the week, and it's just to tide them over until they get like paychecks and stuff like that. And like our second week there, we had this one couple that came in, and they kind of gave us like a bad attitude, like it was really bad, and it went to the point where they were like cursing and calling us names and stuff, because if somebody tell me to do my job, then I'm gonna do my job to the T, and however I gotta do my job, I'm gonna do it. And that's basically one of those things. And we had to tell someone to put something back, and they didn't like that. And then it went from me telling that person that to them trying to fight me, and I was just like, it's okay. So the experience it's been pretty cool. It's just every week you don't know what to expect, and more stuff coming. So we're just excited, and we're gonna keep putting on and pushing on. So
Yeah, me for the most part, just being able to see families happy after we basically fill their fridges up with free groceries. It's a rewarding feeling. Being able to meet some people that work there at the food bank, like their past history. Some of them do have past, like criminal past, but now they're working at the food bank, and they say they love their job. It's the best thing they ever did. Also, as far as like the people that come in, like you can be a family of 2 or 3, and you live in middle class America. As long as you have a job, you can come in there and get free groceries for one time out the month. And also, you can be a family that's very needy, and as long as you have a job, you can come in there and shop whatever you want to get. I mean, of course, there's certain limitations, and that's where it gets hard, because you know a person needs something, but you don't want to tell them no, but you know you have to, because that's what the food bank tells you to do. So yeah, sometimes I can be a little more lenient than I'm supposed to be, but it's for a good cause, so that's the best part about it.
To add on to that, I was when I first came there, I worked at the front desk where I greet the people, say how are you doing, is your name on there, and then I would just cross the name out, and they go talk to one of the ladies, and they will get signed in, and they will go shop. There will be some cases where there are people who are disabled, people who are ex-offenders or offenders at the moment, and we still let them in because the main thing about the Houston Food Bank is that everybody that steps into the doors will not go hungry. They will not leave without anything. You come in, you get something once you step out. So there were some cases where there are people who are there for they weren't there for 5 or 6 years, and there's also some cases where people were there for the first time. So I didn't know what to do, but one of the ladies stepped out and told me that, like I said before, once they're in here, they will not leave without something. So she told me how to do it, sign their name, their telephone number, give them a piece of paper to sign in for an appointment, and then give them a box. Some of the people there were not very too happy about getting a box, but I told them that, don't worry, if you have the paper, you can sign an appointment for this month. And after that, they'd be like, oh yeah, thank you very much. And I was like, man, I didn't know that the Houston Food Bank had to go through all this, man. Yes, it's tough and rough, but you know what, it's worth it. You get to see people smiling when they leave. They even say thank you to you. And but like I said, there's some cases where there are people that are not too happy about how we do things here because we don't have everything. All our stuff are donated. So we only give out certain stuff to different people because not everything. We don't have unlimited stuff, and then we have to improvise in such a way that we give people enough food so that they could last possibly the whole month or a week at best.
Yeah. And then as far as the work goes, on Fridays, it's not many actual workers that work on Fridays, so it's mainly be us three that actually do all of the leg work. We stock in the groceries, filling the meat, miscellaneous items, everything. Yeah. So it's we actually work there. So that's a good feeling. I like working, so it's no big deal to me. Yep.
Do you think that, can you quantify how many people that you think that this is a really, really hard thing for them to actually get the food? You know what I mean? To come in and ask for it, and then those people that just come on in and expect it.
Oh yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not explaining it very well.
Yeah, you can kind of tell certain people you can see the shame, but we try to tell them you good, this is all free. It was one lady that came, she had a brand new Mercedes Benz, and she a normal middle class lady, and then you had this person that come that don't probably have a car and they got off the bus. So it's not for poor people, it's not for rich people, it's for anybody who wants food and who needs it at that time. So it's nothing to be ashamed about or be I'm getting free food. Because if you're a college student and you don't have money for that month to get groceries for your dorm or your apartment, then that'd be a good thing to use. That'd be a great resource. So it's not nothing to be ashamed about. But you do see certain people that be with their head down, they're ashamed to be asking for food, and it's just stuff you gotta just uplift them and keep telling them it's good, it's okay, everything's straight.
Yeah, but I think I understand what you mean. The people that do have that are middle class, you can tell, they are more expecting, okay, this is mine, I need to get this. But the people that you can tell that their family pretty much are struggling and they need more help than some, they're more genuine, they're more accepting of it. It's like they're not demanding it. It's they're being humble with it. So yeah. That's we see families in there that come in there that have 6 kids, 7 kids, and there be just one mom. I'm just
babies,
yeah, it's bad.
That's hard. I think the food bank is an exceptional place.
Yeah.
And thank God that the prisons grow plenty of food. And that they can stock it with fresh produce. Good job, guys.
All right.
All right, I'm Kenneth. We work for Second Chance. We pretty much did everything because it's like we work for a guy, Dave Lewis, who started an organization. So we pretty much like his hands-on. So some of us was working like the bouncy house for the kids. Somebody else sold the merchandise, and I was like the DJ for like the little concert thing, and then some people worked the doors. But it's all pretty much it helps like the inmates, like whenever they like reach out and they talk to the because at one point we were all working like chaperones inside of the building, and they know what I'm talking about, like giving the mic, passing the mic, because we had a Green Bay Packer, ex-wide receiver there. We had the news lady from Channel 26. We had a chief, I forgot her name, but she's a chief of HBD, right? What she was. And well, one guy had just got out of jail 6 days prior. So he was kind of like, it's hard, I have 3 kids, I've been out of jail for 6 days. And just in that little second, somebody else stood up and she was like, well, you qualify for one of our programs, which you're supposed to have children. And so they'll put him through a course where he'll learn construction, but all the downtown construction. So like he gave her a hug. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like what we do. We like help them, who help the inmates there, or people that's been recently released. Like from incarceration, we just help them, with any programs or outreach. So that's what we did.